This afternoon, I do have the head of monitoring and evaluation National TB Control Program, Kwame Afutu. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon,
and
madam.
Thanks for your time. You did listen to some of the take of the public on how TB is spread. Were you satisfied with some of the comments?
Absolutely, to a very high degree. I'm impressed that the populace is knowledgeable about tuberculosis.
Okay. But I can tell you that I did that interview and there were some people who had no idea. We put the microphone to them, asked them if they know about TB. Some of them said, yes, I do. Others said, but I don't know the symptoms. I don't know how it's spread. I've heard about TB before, but I'm not sure of what to say. Have we done enough education to ensure that almost everybody knows about tuberculosis here in Ghana?
Until everybody knows about tuberculosis, then it means it is not enough. For example, one of the respondents mentioned having sexual intercourse. Of course, that's an opportunity to be in a very close contact with somebody. And anybody who suffers from the disease was largely cough. I mean, it's a disease which affects any organ of the body, but largely affects the lungs. The one that affects the lungs makes people cough. So if you're in that close contact, then of course it's likely that the person will pass on the germ to you because you would inhale in any case. But we're talking of not just that brief spell of contact, we're talking of being in that contact for about 20 to 30 hours a week for an extended period of about 1 year and beyond. Not until then, it is not likely you have the disease. You may be infected though.
Okay. Now, let's look at the theme which has been selected over a period. And 2013 we had Stop TB in My Lifetime. In 2014 we had reach 3 million people. And then 2015 Gear Up to End TB. 2016 Unite to End TB. There's End, there's Stop. What is happening? I know that some gains have been made, and for example from 2000 to 2014, 43 million lives were saved through effective diagnosis and treatment from the WHO. Why stop? Why end? Are we not really making headway as we should?
Admittedly, we are not making the optimum headway. For example, we did a study in 2013 which suggests that for every 100,000 people in Ghana, 290 persons should be suffering from TB. So we should be able to find about 70,000 patients annually. As I speak, in 2015, we could only find 21% of those cases. That's about 15,000. So the question is that, where are the rest? We believe they're in the community, they are in the society. So let's unite to end TB. Can we pool our resources? Human resources especially. Can we propagate the message of TB everywhere? Can you and I talk about TB everywhere? It's so much stigmatized. So to the extent that some people, even though they know they have the disease, they wouldn't go to the health facility because once you are diagnosed, you are shunned. I mean, they may even cease to use the washroom with you to the extent that you may have your own eatery, though you were in the same family. So yes, we are doing so much, but we have not done optimum. So until we are able to find all the cases, at least close to what we estimate should be there, we haven't done enough.
Now, do we know, you talk about filling the resource gap, and WHO is also looking at $1.5 billion US every year. Now, in Ghana, what is the situation like and how much do we even need? You've touched about awareness, you've talked on education, you've talked on what we need to do, but do we know how much we even need to help deal with the situation?
Absolutely, we know how much we need. Thankfully, with the support of global finance, central government, we have enough medicine to treat all TB patients. However, to reach the larger population, on average, we estimate that we need about 44 million US. Okay, so there is a funding gap, but even within what resources we have now, we can do beyond what we're doing. That's why we have introduced a new intervention. We call it intensified case finding. Even within the resources we have, we believe that we can achieve much better than what we're doing now. So anybody who walks to the hospital, the health center, everybody will want to find out whether you have any symptoms related to tuberculosis. By so doing, then we are going to cover entirely everybody who comes to the facility, the larger population. We have CSOs, civil society organizations working up in the community, moving from house to house, talking to people about TB. Our number one challenge is the stigma. If anybody who thinks he has TB can just get up and walk to the facility and say, look, I've been coughing for 2 weeks or more, I have nice sweat, I have these symptoms, can you check me for tuberculosis? Okay. We'll make a headway.
Now, we've briefly touched on data and the figures we have in the country, but specifically, what is the situation on the ground when it comes to statistics of tuberculosis, and how worrying is the situation? You've touched on people walking up to say that, yes, I have TB, dealing with stigmatization, but what are the figures on the ground? Yeah,
the figures on the ground at least suggest with the demographic health survey that about 40% of the adult population in Ghana knows enough about tuberculosis. If you take 100 patients that we put on treatment, about 8 of them die in course of treatment. Largely also because most of them would come to the hospital at advanced stage of disease. So at that point, most of the organs would have been destroyed. So it's difficult to get those people cured. So out of even the few cases we diagnose, we lose so much. I mean, imagine 10 on 100 dying in course of treatment. So the point is that if we can seek help very early, then the tendency for people dying in course of treatment would also reduce. And one other thing we are doing is that for every known TB patient, we want to talk to people around. We call it household contacts. Why? If we treat that individual, get him cured, and he goes back to a pool of infection in that house, he gets another bout of TB because treatment doesn't confer on you immunity. So we would have to investigate everybody around that person, household contact. I already talk of exposure, close contact, 20 to 30 hours a week over a year plus. But another group which is very significant for us is the children 0 to 5. WHO says that for every 10 patients, 1 of them should be a child. So if you take 100, 10 of them should be children. In Ghana, it's about 5 on 100. So what it means that we are probably also missing the children. So one thing we are doing is, for every diagnosed patient, would screen household contacts and specifically look for children under 5. If there's any such child, take him to the hospital for a specialist to screen. If TB is ruled out, then we have what we call prophylaxis. That baby or child should be given medication for 6 months, so long as the adult is also on treatment for 6 months, so that we protect the children. Okay.
Now, quickly before I let you go, is this curable, and how expensive is it to treat? For those who don't know about this.
Fortunately, nobody should die from tuberculosis because it is curable. The medicines are there, paid, and it is free. Once diagnosis is made, as a matter of fact, even part of the diagnosis is free. The entire diagnosis, once we know it is tuberculosis, once the doctor asks for the diagnosis for tuberculosis, every cost is borne by a government and global fund. So the treatment is free. But just that it takes a bit of time. We are talking of 6 months. And the 6 months, you must take the medication daily. Okay. And in order to be sure that you get cured, we want to supervise the treatment. Either a volunteer, a relation, or us. You come back to the health facility daily, or somebody designated to meet you at home to observe you take the medication on a daily basis, so we can be sure that you have taken the medication and cure is guaranteed, so long as you comply with treatment.
Thank you so much. Kwame Ofutu, he's the head monitoring and evaluation unit national TB control program. Today is World TB Day, and he says that treatment is free and indeed TB is curable.